around.
Yes, it will, guys. My name is Jackie Zabrowski. Welcome to Page 7, Second Helpings. Who am I joined by?
I am MJ, and the story of the week is Taylor's wedding, but Jack Antonoff will never let her have the spotlight, will he? I do feel like we are always talking about Jack Antonoff if we are talking about Taylor Swift, and in a way this week cosmically makes sense.
Yes, and in fact, even to a point that Holden couldn't believe that we weren't bringing up Jack Antonoff during the main gush of Taylor's wedding. But don't worry, you're also going to get my hot takes on Love Island this week. And MJ, have you been taking anything down?
Honestly, I need to sell you more on Evil. I'm coming back with another pitch for Evil.
Second pitch of Evil. Well,
second helpings, Evil.
Another scoop of Evil. All right, okay.
Because I was mid on Evil when I talked about it on the show, and now I'm like, not only am I fully away from mid and into pro, but I'm like, Jackie would love this show. So see, I need to.
That's what I couldn't believe, because you brought up Evil last week. Y'all came out of the woodwork for Evil.
Everyone loves Evil.
I had no idea were just seeping into the bloodstream of America. I had no idea. So I
had no idea either.
To find out more.
I was like, this is a dorky show my husband likes, but it turns out it's a show that
all of you people, that lots of people like. MJ, how dare you?
Who are not dorks also like.
So, yeah, these are going to be the big things that we're getting into this week. But, of course, before we get there, I got to ask you, MJ, if I were a bug, where would you kiss me? Because I asked this of my husband the other day, and I felt like it was one of those marriage question traps that it wasn't even like, if I were a bug, would you still love me? And Jeff was like, that's why I was so put off that you said, if I were a bug, so not only that, you assume that I'm going to definitely still kiss you, you're just wondering where. And then, of course, the conversation was, what bug did you turn into? And and I was like, oh, does it matter the shape of the bug that I turn into? But I appreciated it because he's like, how else am I supposed to know where I'm supposed to kiss you unless I know what you're made of?
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like conditional about what type of bug. It was just more of like a research question.
Yes. And I included it in this week's dossier just because we talked about it for so long. We talked about
I noticed it. I thought, what the fuck? I don't know what that means.
It's almost like you remembered that Jeff and I are writing a cryptid fuck game, and when you're writing a cryptid kiss game like we are, you start to think of like, would I kiss a proboscis? Like, would I suck upon an antennae? It really depends on what, like, yeah, maybe if I'm covered in moth dust, you might want to get my particles all over you. I don't know.
I think that if my husband turned into anything, it would be a snake. And so that's
how would you feel about that? Even though snake's not a bug, but we can continue.
I know. Well, that's what it's hard to even imagine him as a bug because he would so obviously become a snake. I would kiss him.
Do you talk about this to him? I feel like you guys should have a conversation. Every time I look at you, I see snake. I know you're not man, you are snake.
I just know him well enough. He's a snake boy. He went to like snake boy camp when he was a kid, and so I just know that
does he have the tongue? Did he slice it down? Can he kiss you in two different ways?
Ooh, yeah, no, I don't. That's actually making where would I kiss you? I would kiss him on the top of his snake head.
Oh, like a loving parent would. Yeah, just a little kiss, and then I'll send you on your way. Well, it's going to make the rest of your marriage really difficult. But I guess being married to a snake would also be difficult.
Yeah. So do you get to, what kind of bug would you be? Or do you not get to choose?
I was really, and I think it was because of the Buffy episode, Coming on Some Eggs, that we all really thought about a lot, which was the praying mantis episode, which is when the hot teacher wasn't trying to just bang the students. She was also a praying mantis trying to have the students be used as saccules for her eggs. And while, yes, that is badass, I, of course, would want to be that praying mantis, not to go after minor boys, but to go after old men and to fill their corpses with my eggs.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine. And Jeff is cool with that.
Yeah, and he said that as long as I didn't kill him, but I'd have to promise, and I was like, at least you would know that I wouldn't be able to like cross my talons to be able to say, I promise I will not cut your head off.
Now, do you think that Margaret Qualley is going to kill Jack Antonoff? Because I would never delight in a divorce story, you guys. I'm not a sociopath.
But if she starts hacking away at his little head and you just watched it roll away from her, I mean, I wouldn't say no. He does have a little head and big ears, and I think it would look funny for it to roll away separately from his body. Not that I'm encouraging that. I've always been just a slight head scratch at this relationship. I know he's a very talented yet controversial producer. Some people feel as if all of his songs sound the same. And Holden hates those people. I just think that Margaret Qualley is just so stunning. Every time I see a picture of them together, I'm like, oh, okay. But it's fine. But the funniest part of this story, again, divorce, not funny. But I do think that him going to the wedding without her, to Taylor's wedding last week without her, and saying she wasn't there because they had a little tiff. Is so funny and honestly relatable, because I said, who amongst us has not gone to a high-stakes social event after like a seismic marital conflict fight?
And everyone is like, where's your partner? And you're like, oh, we had a little tiff.
No, it's fine. Everything's fine. Oh, they're coming later. Yeah.
I'm here with my sister because I'm not here with my wife because we had a little tiff. And then I looked into all the other like minor ways, the ways that the tiff has been playing out. Like he stopped playing the song that is about her on his tour.
Yeah, because of the tiff. Yeah, it's just a tiff.
And she changed her Instagram name from a reference to one of
his
songs.
Yeah, that's what you do after a tiff. Yes,
her full name, which is to being like, it's not your name, it's my name.
Oh, and then she also removed all of their wedding photos. It's just a tiff. It's just a tiff, and like that's what sometimes women do that, sometimes you have a tiff. And it is, word on the street is, which would make sense, this is more coming from Margaret Qualley than it is Jack Antonoff, and that's why he's trying to do the like, it's just fine. But man, to miss, it's like, it is crazy, the weird, like, humble brags I feel like I'm seeing from people that were like, I was invited to Taylor's wedding, but I chose not to go. But I do love the, like, Robert Pattinsons of them that who's just like, I'm Batman. I was shooting Batman, so I gotta go be Batman.
And I'm shooting Batman. And then wait, who was the person who was like, was it Blake Lively? One of the people who wasn't invited, it kind of tried to be like, oh, it was because I was filming, and then they looked into it and they were like, you were not filming. I have to remember who that was. But Margaret Qualley, I really feel bad for her because I feel like you have to save the divorce. I mean, as much as we just spent all of the previous episode shitting on this wedding, if my husband who I'm about to divorce is going, I'm going. Like I'm setting the divorce for August. You know, I don't want to miss that wedding.
Change the calendar date. But also I think that like when I first saw that Jack Antonoff was there alone, I was like, oh, where is Margaret Qualley? And people were like, oh, she's like on a boat with all of her friends off the coast of Italy. And I was like, yeah, I'd fucking rather do that too. You know, when I didn't even know about the split yet, I was just like, yeah, you couldn't pull me away from that to go to a wedding at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. Whereas I think, it was like at first Blake Lively, I think it was a kind of, they tried to be like, oh, she was busy. And then it was like she was up in upstate New York. And I was like, you know, being in upstate New York on the 4th of July isn't the worst. That's pretty fun. But again, as much as I just took many shits on that wedding, if I could go, I would have gone. It's unlike the Bezos wedding. The Bezos wedding, I'm not going.
Actual evil.
Taylor... evil.
True, it's with shades of gray of evil, but definitely evil. She's up there. She's definitely evil. And we're not talking about the television show, it seems.
Not yet.
No.
What's one more person in a sea of 1,000 if I'm going to the wedding? I got to see what alcohol they're serving. I got to see what the food is like.
Yeah, what the buffet line is like that they didn't even have a sit-down dinner. Where were you going to sit, MJ? Oh,
They
we're
had a
going to sit up in the
buffet?
rafters with the fucking pigeons? Yeah, it wasn't even a plated dinner, MJ. It was a buffet.
That is it bad
Yeah,
that I
but
say
you know
I kind of
what's
like that?
you know what's so Taylor though? They had Pop-Tarts on their dessert table. Isn't that so not like the other girls? She had Pop-Tarts there, isn't it?
She's just the girl next door who's represented in the Empire State Building. She's just like us.
It's also, she's just like us. And speaking of she's just like us, I do love, was it Meghan Markle that you were thinking of, MJ? That was
That's
like,
it. Yes,
Meghan
they're
Markle
like-
was like, I really wanted to attend Taylor's wedding. It's like, I definitely like really wanted to. And like, I know that like William and Kate, like, yeah, they had their like thing, but like, I'm a mom. You know,
Yes, that was-
I can't make it. You
Lot
know,
going on. Yeah,
bitch,
and
you weren't invited.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
invited.
yeah, not invited. Yeah, it was a
I
very like
even oh my god, it's just like the fact that there was a source talking about Meghan wanted to be there. Oh, this is so cringe.
That's sad. That's mean. They met up with William and Kate before the wedding, like as if they are in the royal family more than Harry and Meghan are, which I think actually might be true at this
It
point.
might
yeah.
be.
I know, her being like, oh, I would have loved to have gone. It's like the Nathan Field, they're like just standing with my friends having a great time. They're all out of frame laughing, you know, like laughing with me. I know. I honestly actually feel bad for Meghan, because if you're meeting with your sister and brother-in-law before the wedding and then you're not even getting an invite, that's Taylor, come on. I honestly know, I want to know what's going on with Blake Lively, because also I was laughing very hard at the like victory lap video that Justin Baldoni and his wife put out, that also I said it's giving
God.
it's giving Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis apology for Danny Masterson letter video, but it's
just
a win.
Baldoni, nobody cares about you, son. Who cares?
Nobody cares.
Who cares?
But then also, while we're talking about Baldoni, I know we were all kind of like, maybe a little bit mean girl to be like, LOL, Blake Lively wasn't invited. But I spent a lot of time thinking about this morning. Did Taylor really end the friendship because Blake Lively was like, I'm doing this big lawsuit and my dragon, Taylor Swift, will back me up? And did Taylor Swift really feel so offended by that she was like, you know what, I'm abandoning you? And if so, what do we think about that? Who's the bee?
Especially because
between those two,
didn't she just have a whole song that's like, I like my friends cancelled? Like, wasn't that a whole thing of like, my friends are better when they're cancelled? And so you would think that she would be like welcoming her in with open arms. So that's what makes me think that the lawsuit was way messier than we as plebes will ever really find out. And that she must have been trying to include Taylor, I'm assuming.
If she got subpoenaed or something.
Right? In ways
if
that she didn't feel comfortable with, where she's like, wait, what do you want me to do? Wait, do not drag me into all of this. Wait. And I do imagine that could push them to a point where they don't want to, then she just doesn't want to interact with her anymore.
That's fair. If your close friend starts a very public fight and then gets you dragged in a
huge
legal
public fight
way,
too, and it was like about a project that Taylor Swift couldn't even watch it and be like, yes, this is championing what, like, we couldn't even, like, there was nothing. And Taylor Swift had used like her song in the movie and in the trailer, and so I just feel like, I'm assuming she wanted nothing to do with none of it.
Yeah. But now I'm actually, I feel bad for Meghan Markle. The wedding I hate, that I think shouldn't have happened. I feel bad for Meghan Markle, and I feel bad for Blake Lively not being invited. I feel bad for the ladies who were left out.
I don't. But I'm a mean girl, and that's how it goes, you know?
You were a junior high bully once.
Junior high bully. You can never take it away from me.
Always.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever, babe.
Yeah, and Baldoni's out here, making this video with his wife to just be like, oh, that sucked, and it's like no one wants to hear about it.
Nobody
one
cares, bro. Like nobody
Nobody
cared when
cares.
Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis couldn't flip the millennial coin here, all right?
Yeah.
You ain't gonna do it. Nobody's. The only reason we know about you is because of the lawsuit, and not in a good way.
Yeah, the movie wasn't good, and it really is there's no winners. It was just like a mutually self-destructive, like, now nobody likes Blake Lively or Justin Baldoni, and for what? Did you just have a sip of a seltzer that you don't like?
Sorry, it's a Waterloo. I didn't realize it's another one of the Guy Fieri flavor towns, and it's just called Lemon Italian Ice, and it reminds me if like a lemon looked at the sparkling water and went like, I bet you could never be it. And the water went, yeah, like with no comebacks. And this is not good. It's a less lemony version of a lemon sparkling water. And I don't know. They were like, how about we just take some of the lemon out of it? And then it'll be a different flavor. But instead, it just kind of tastes like nothing. Thanks, Guy Fieri.
The Flavortown seltzers seem consistently light on flavor, which is
MJ, I would agree with you, but I'll throw it out there. I was throwing a couple of those root beer seltzer waters back during a pool party, and I'll throw it out there. It was refreshing. Not as viscous as a soda. It was kind of nice. It wasn't as sugary. Oh, God, MJ, it's all I've got left.
I was inspired by your and Jake's protein root beer to actually just order like a regular root beer. And now I just have regular soda in my fridge for the first time in like 25 years.
How does that make you feel?
It's great.
It really is. And then
soda's good.
Soda's good. It's
I know
so
it's
funny.
bad,
We're all
but it's
going
good.
back around. I feel like soda drinking's coming back. Cigarette smoking is coming back in like crazy. People are
Is
just
it?
Oh, yeah. People are looking at the world right now and they're like, what does it fucking matter? What does it possibly? And everyone's like now knows that vaping is just as bad. So everyone's like, then why are we looking stupid? Why don't we just smoke cigarettes instead? Everyone knows it looks cool to smoke cigarettes and everyone knows it's lame to vape. I say this as someone that vapes weed myself. So I'm not just throwing stones here. So it's just, I think we're all just kind of throwing in the towel. I think us millennials are just like, all right, I can't do another recession. I can't do it. So I'm just going to drink soda and I'm going to smoke cigarettes. So
Now, I think that we can decide that we have talked about every aspect of the Taylor wedding that we need to talk about. I was surprised to learn that none of her godchildren were there and that she has 5 godchildren. But do we care? Not really. So
she didn't choose them. They were put on her, you know?
Yeah. And it sounds like she is not maintaining her godmother responsibilities.
I get it.
Which, I don't know if anybody really loves having that title anyway. But I think that
Henry is a godfather, which I think is still very funny because when asked, I was like, and he was like, me? And he's like, I don't go in those places, right? And he still did it, and I'll never forget that. I was just like, I remember us all being like, just like in the church, and he's like holding the baby up like it's in Lion King, and I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, just pretend like it's Lion King. I'm like, I'm fine with it if it's Lion King. It's like all this is Lion King. This isn't church. This is just Lion King.
I saw Lion King on Broadway this weekend, by the way.
Whoa!
I know it's not new culture, but I am here to report that this is one of the longest running shows on Broadway at this point. Good.
How do you
good.
like them big puppets? Do we call them puppets at that point?
Oh yeah, it was actually like so awesome.
Oh my God, when they come down the aisles and you're just like,
Yeah.
I'm in it, I'm here.
It was so cool.
Oh
and
yeah, and you cry. You're just like, I know all
cried.
of this, and you're just like crying.
I cried so much, and the Broadway show started in 1997, and I was 11, and I remember seeing ads for it and being like, I desperately want to see that musical on Broadway, and instead we saw the producers with Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick, which was probably a better choice.
That is something that could never be. Hello, you saw perfection on a stage. I'm sorry that you're gonna see Mufasa on the stage, but now you see Mufasa on the fucking stage.
Now, and it was great. And so if you have children and The Lion King is coming to a theater near you, MJ endorses. Very good 30-year-old show.
30-year-old show, MJ.
Highly
I'm
recommend.
surprised it's still around. Oh, it is good, huh?
And it was my kid's first Broadway show, and that was what was so cool about it.
That is amazing. What did the kids that like? Were they? I mean, especially when they're coming down the aisle, and when it's
it was awesome.
Just losing their minds.
And it's just cool to introduce Broadway as a concept, because when you're raising kids in New York City for the first, literally 8 years, you can't really do any of the best things that the city has to offer. It starts to emerge, so at 5 and 6, you can bring them to some of the cool stuff. But, I am now in this parenting in New York City renaissance where I'm last year we took the boat to see the Statue of Liberty just for fun, and now we're going to Broadway just for fun. And it's this
fun.
Doing fun, cool stuff. And I'm we live in a city that just has Broadway. It's not we can go all the time because it's very expensive, but we could do this again whenever we want to do something really special, and it was cool.
It is so crazy too, as someone that growing up in Queens, I remember before we moved away from New York was the first time we ever went into Manhattan to do all of the touristy things that we never did. And even though we always grew up in Queens and just could see Manhattan, we very, very rarely went into Manhattan. So, because of course, if you live out in Queens, why would you? And why would you want to lose your parking space to go into the city? You know what I mean? And especially when you just got these rambunctious kids running around. But that really, I'll never forget doing all those things, being this was all right here? This was right here? And it's wow, being poor in this city is really crazy.
yeah.
That's nuts.
Not quite the same.
Oh my God! But I did preface this in the dossier, which I'll only refer to it as such.
The Steele dossier.
Is there a new segment called "What's She Wrong About This Week?" Because I'm coming in hot with. Guys, I was wrong. And I'm here to confess it to you. I went to go see Olivia. I'm not going to call her Olivia Wilde. I went to go see Olivia Wilde's The Invite, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I don't know. It's so funny because I was talking to someone before we went to go see it that was a younger person, and they specifically were usually I don't give a shit about married things, but it was a really, really good movie. And I was oh, okay. I mean, that makes sense from a younger perspective that you wouldn't give a fuck about just a story about a married couple. But we are of the age that is completely our wheelhouse. And watching this movie, I will not, obviously I would never name, in fact, no one would know who they are over a microphone anyway, but we have a couple in our lives so essentially this whole movie is about a couple that do not really love each other anymore, and that is Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen. And they really don't even talk to each other anymore. They kind of just talk at each other. And she invites over Ed Norton and Penelope Cruz. And they are this couple that is in, honestly, Jeff and I kept making the jokes that I think that this is our aura. I do believe it is the aura that everyone thinks. And I think it is just because, and I say this out of respect, I think it's just because Jeff is an emotionally communicative, very open, respectful man. I'm a very open, respectful, emotionally communicative woman. And a lot of times people think we're trying to fuck them. And we are not. And we're never trying to have sex with them. But
you're also both very physically affectionate
very
with
loving.
Each other.
Yes, we're very loving.
No matter who you're around,
yes.
Which I love.
Yes.
But I could imagine that when you guys are making out with each other, hanging out with two other people, they might be are we joining?
Are we, is this? And we try to, of course, not do that. We try to not, put that on other people. We try to be aware of these things. But that is essentially what is happening in this movie, that Penelope Cruz and Ed Norton come over, and they are just very much in love with each other and very open and very willing to talk about sex and willing to talk about perimenopause and all the things that Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde are just oh, okay, we're talking about this. Okay, it's just a lot of, it's just genuinely the shots, I noticed the way in which the movie was shot. It was beautifully done. It was so well written to the point that I have like a list of 6 people that can never see this movie because I think that they will immediately get divorced. And I loved the interplay of the 4 of them. I was
Olivia
laughing
Wilde ruining
out loud.
other people's marriages, not just her own marriage.
It's like she's bringing her vinaigrette around, I guess. I don't know what she's doing. She's spewing it everywhere. It was delightful. It was just a genuinely, really, I thought, a very good movie. If you to be fair, there's not explosions. It is definitely just a character study of these. It's just the 4 of them in the movie. And
that's my exact type of movie. The
Yes.
young person who said they don't like marriage movies or marriage stories is interesting to me because when I was like 22, I read Revolutionary Road, and that was also when the movie came out, which is about a marriage slowly falling apart.
Dude.
And I was like, this is the best book I've ever read, and I love this movie, and I love scenes from a marriage. I think my favorite genre might be marriage is falling apart.
Bro, you've seen Blue Valentine, right? I mean, it's why it's one of my favorite movies. I love love, and I love watching love die. And that's the spectrum of Jackie. And this movie is all of that, kind of all in one. And I went into it just being like, all right, let's, it's a Sunday afternoon. Let's see what this movie is. And afterwards, Jeff and I both were like, did we love that? Oh my God, I think we loved that.
So what do you think happened with Don't Worry, Darling? Because you saw Don't Worry, Darling, right?
I think it was such a fuck. I think that so much got screwed with it. I think that it ended up being, I'm assuming that all of the swirl of the PR around it and all of the upset of with the changing of the cast and everything and all of it seemed like, remember, because we talked about it for so long, it was so rife with drama. I'm assuming is what the downfall was.
Uh-huh.
And also, I'm probably assuming it could have been that, I believe that was during the downfall of her marriage. That
Very
was her,
so.
starting to see Harry Styles. That was, a very tumultuous time period for her. This has shown I've grown up from then. And this is where I'm at now. And it makes me just be like, Olivia Wilde? Okay. Because, I liked Booksmart. I really genuinely liked Booksmart. So I wonder if that, maybe Don't Worry, Darling is more the anomaly. I'm hoping. I'm putting out some positive energy here.
Well, now I feel bad for mocking her for being part of the British gentry.
No, we can mock her for that. No, I mean, Western
still
and
think
English,
that's
right?
funny.
No, we're allowed to make fun. We're allowed to
And the
punch up,
vinaigrette.
MJ. I mean, that's a part of being a comedian.
The vinaigrette is still
Mild.
simple.
The vinaigrette is mild. She is not. All right?
Yeah, it's a mid vinaigrette, and I still think that she wronged Jason Sudeikis. But
sometimes
I'm
love
glad she can
dies,
make a good
MJ.
movie.
Sometimes
Yes,
love just dies.
and you kill it by sleeping with Harry Styles. While you're still with Jason Sudeikis. But that's it's not my marriage. And ultimately, I don't have to judge somebody's art badly just because they made a very poor interpersonal choice.
Right.
I don't.
But I did want to just quickly just have a quick sidebar because I wanted to give a shout out to Grace from Patreon. This is to do with our conversation about A shirts the other day, where it's like the who's on a shirt first. And I really loved this, and I am genuinely trying to adopt it now. And I just want to say thank you, Grace. Grace said, my group of guy friends call the little white tanks wife appreciators, which has similar mouthfeel but less dark implications. And I love the lengthening of it into wife appreciators and then trying to be like, it's got the same mouthfeel, and you're right, except it extends it, and I think that makes me love it even more. You have your wife appreciator on. I see. Yes, good to appreciate the wives on a day like today. Like anytime somebody comes out in an A shirt, like, good, yeah, it's one of those days, Mother's Day.
Yeah. I'll try it. I wear a lot of wife appreciators, and my language has really suffered since the appropriate ending of the previous term, and so I will try
Appreciators is so
appreciators.
It's so funny. Oh my
Yeah,
God. It's almost
that's
as
good.
funny as watching the people on Love Island do karaoke. MJ, I gotta say that I think that this may have been, weirdly, even though it was not the most sensational, I first had heard that they were going to have all the Islanders do karaoke and compete. And I was like, oh God, all right, let's see what this is going to be. But talk about a fascinating portion of seeing into what beautiful privilege begats. Because so they practiced all day, like they were all doing karaoke in their couples, and they were all like practicing all day and working on it all day, and all of them were like, I'm like a really good singer, so like I know like once they got out there, like I'm just gonna shake me thing. And it was so adorable because I will say they were all very, very supportive of each other, because it has to be terrifying to, one, do karaoke, two, do karaoke in front of millions and millions of people, three, do it soberly. And to think
They
of,
were sober? I thought they're never sober.
oh, bub, they only allowed one drink a day. Oh no, it is the opposite of that. The craziest part about Love Island, MJ, is that they're sober the entire time. That's the craziest part. They're doing
That
all
is
of this
crazy.
soberly.
Wow.
Unless they're bringing the drugs in their shoes like the situation did with the Jersey Shore. So don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are some drugs in the shoes situations. But for the most part, they're only allowed to drink one drink a day.
Well, okay, so it's not a Love is Blind
No,
Netflix.
no. It is not
Get 'em
that.
tanked.
In
Okay,
fact, I
all
think
right.
there would be a lot more repercussions if that were the case. You know, I think that's
Yeah.
where it would really get bad.
I mean, people would die. They're there for
Yeah.
so long.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
You
good.
can even
I'm
see-
happy to hear that.
Looking at Kenzie, if you look at a picture from where she was at the beginning to where she is now, you've watched a spirit die. She has no light in her eyes at all anymore. She's gone as a human. And I'm just like, is she ever going to return? I don't know. Melanie, I don't know if you're ever going to be able to get past this and what is happening to you either. But I
Tell me
did,
about the karaoke songs.
honestly, MJ, watching them do karaoke was so fascinating because they all are so beautiful and they've never been told they were bad at something in their life.
Right,
And
right,
so
right. This is the dangerous thing about being so beautiful.
Yes, and I was recently talking to someone about beautiful privilege, and I obviously, you know, I'm not saying I have none of it. I know I have it to a certain portion. I was specifically making the joke that whenever I'm around Natalie, who is, is 5'11", she's covered in tats, she's a stunt woman, she's, a goddess that walks among this earth. It's wonderful because no one perceives me. When Natalie's around, I don't exist. And I'm saying that in a positive way that I feel bad for her. Because then it's like, man, that sucks. I could just be like, I don't know, whatever the beautiful lady says. The beautiful lady needs things. And
it's privilege and it's a curse.
It is.
Because people,
It is.
people don't talk to you like you're a fellow human, which I think would be very lonely.
But they really all thought that they did a really, really good job. And really, honestly, only one of them could kind of sing. And I say this as someone that also gets drunk and does karaoke on Jackin' every Friday. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying
you're a
it's
very
easy.
good singer. But you
I'm
and
not
Holden are
even-
very good singers, though.
And I felt so bad for them, but then at the same time, looking at how they all were like, we did so great afterwards, I was like, man, would that I could live in that brain. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Or do you have to live in that brain to get past a traumatic event like doing karaoke in front of millions of people, you know?
What is it that Holden said that how he would describe Northwest's performance as Simba and the Lion King? Like, she had a lot of fun out there. You know, it's like, I feel like
a lot of fun out there. And they did. They gave it their all. They all practiced all day. And I'm not even one to be like, off, key is off. Like, I'm not saying that. It's just you could tell they were so nervous to do it. And they're like sucking on each other. They're fucking in front of millions of people. But the singing what made them all so desperately nervous that it was kind of interesting to watch them get rattled. I was like, yeah, get fucking rattled. This is terrifying.
Yeah, that's something where, like, no matter how hot you are in a bikini, it doesn't change how good you are at karaoke.
Yes.
What songs are we talking? Are we talking about, like?
Well, there was a "Don't Go Breaking My Heart." I got it if I try. There was, which was as someone that sang this song at Ed's wedding. Someone chose "Ain't No Mountain High Enough," and I was like, "That's a difficult song." That's why I don't know if they were all given the songs or if they were able to choose them, because some of them had some songs that I was like, "That's not the song I would have fucking chosen." Oh, yeah, that's what oh my God, Zach and Kada chose Endless Love. How are you possible? Endless Love, sung by Lionel Richie and Diana Ross. You guys are gonna sing Endless, and they afterwards are like, why are we at the bottom? Why are we in the bottom? Why'd you choose to sing Endless Love? I can't even harmonize with Endless Love. Like, it's difficult.
As I know I've talked about this before, but as somebody who has a very small vocal range, you have to find the karaoke songs that have like a very small vocal range, which is why my go-to song is Cheap Trick's Surrender. And there is a key change in it, which is a challenge, but I can rise to that challenge. But
you got to know what you can rise to. And also throwing it out there, it is a short song and it's always a banger. I'm just giving you this tip right now. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. And you get everybody to sing when you do that song.
Yeah. No,
just
that's a good
that
one.
Out there.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows if you have lived a normal life, you have collected, 5 karaoke songs that you can do well every time. I say that I am 40. These people are at the beginning of their adult lives, but I also think that they have not lived normal lives. They have not found themselves at a bar that suddenly is doing karaoke at 1 a.m.
Also, they're COVID babies. They're all COVID teenagers. So you think that they were not socialized the way we were socialized. And you can tell by the way they talk about each other. Like, it's also even like after that movie night thing that I was screaming about last week, that like it's almost as if some of them are starting to learn, like, oh my God, the things I do have repercussions. Not that they could say the word repercussions, but like I think that they are just understanding that, oh, I can't just act like a piece of shit. Some of them.
Well, that's good for them.
Right?
I genuinely feel like, again, I know these people are not children and they are adults and they need to be held, like, for the men doing bad things, like, need to be held accountable for the shitty and misogynistic things
and
that they
they're not. They're barely
doing,
are. They're all
not
being forgiven. They're all like, it's okay. And everyone on the internet is just like, treat yourself better.
But that is, I was actually talking with a friend of mine who's been a school counselor for like 20 years.
Oh, no.
This week. And so she has
beaten, broken down, yeah.
But sometimes when you talk to people about like how the kids are nowadays, you're like, okay, grandma, like, it's like, obviously it's a generational thing to look at the next generation.
Don't talk about Anaya. That word is triggered because of Love Island for me right now, okay?
You look and you're like, oh, the kids are doing it wrong or whatever. And then I also think that now with the pandemic, there's a people will be like, oh, well, the pandemic, blah, blah, blah. But talking to my friend who's been a school counselor for 20 years was really interesting because she has 20 years of data to compare. And she can tell you even class by class. She's like, the kids who missed their senior year and prom and graduation, like those are like the Love Island age now. And like that they missed these really formative and like,
things.
I think next year's, the rising seniors of this year were like in 7th grade, and you miss, like, think of how much you learn in 7th grade, even though it sucks and we all hate it. Like, there's a lot of like social learning and emotional learning that goes on, and if that wasn't happening, so we knew in 2020, oh, this is going to have social repercussions, but then now I think we just don't want to think about it and don't want to talk about it because it sucked and we never want to think about it again. But we are like living in a, like, what does it do to take away a extremely formative year of a young person's life? Look at Love Island and find out,
Yeah, epitome. They say things like compromise. I'm just here to emerge myself, MJ. I'm here to emerge myself, all right? I got to emerge myself and make sure that I'm kissing all the kisses I got to kiss, okay? How else am I supposed to do it if I don't emerge myself?
Oh, sweetie.
He just keeps saying emerge, and it's just like, and nobody's telling him. And he thinks that, like, that's a big letter, like, that's a big ticket word for him to be using, by the way.
Does he mean immerse?
Yes, he does mean immerse. He does. That is the way that we had to use the context clues with the amount of times he said it, that, he means immerse. But how would you feel, I know not to just bring it back to Tay, just real quick, but it was pretty funny because Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton also got married on July 3rd, and Gwen Stefani which I don't say lightly anymore. For sure.
We still don't like your cultural appropriation.
No,
Gwen
and we
Stefani.
don't like your fucking Hallow app, and we don't like or whatever. We don't like any of that stuff. No, we don't like it. We don't like it.
Weird Christ app.
But I do feel bad that she posted a anniversary post for her and Blake Shelton, and everyone online was like, stealing Tay's day, it's Tay's day. And I didn't even be like, man, that's like, it's also Ed Larson from the network, it's also his wedding anniversary too, and we were already making that joke, but then to see it done on such a public scale at Gwen Stefani kind of makes me laugh.
Yeah, and then these, like, the people whose thing on Twitter is to just, like, aggregate other people's posts and then say things and then create this big stir, and then it gets written up by BuzzFeed. Somebody criticized Gwen Stefani for posting. Like, but, like, wasn't even, it was like she wasn't like she was like, this is my day. She just posted, like, happy 5 years, I love you, baby. And then one of those big Twitter accounts reposted it. It was like, weird to be posting this on Taylor's wedding day. And it's like,
it's
bitch,
their
it's
wedding
her
day.
Wedding anniversary. This has, and that's also not Taylor's fault. Like, but that is, that's just, it sucks to be, like, so big that somebody else talking about their own life on your day, quote unquote, now people are mad at her on behalf of you. Yeah, poor Gwen Stefani. And that's the only time I'm going to say it, and it's the last time I'm going to say it, because she is allowed to celebrate her own wedding anniversary without people being like, you're selfish, you're stealing Tay's day.
I mean, you are selfish, and you are, stealing other things from people, but the day is still a day.
It's not like she showed up to Taylor's wedding in a wedding dress. That would be...
Oh my God, there was already backlash because I don't even know who it was. It was some person like that brought their girlfriend, and there was like, the girlfriend wore white on Taylor's wedding day. And it's just like, I think they know who the bride is. I'm pretty sure no one's questioning who's getting married at MSG. So I think it'll be fine. There's 1,000 wedding guests. I think it'll be okay.
Okay, is it time for me to sell you on evil?
You're allowed. Your evil floor is open. And now I feel like this is like going to be put, I hate to say this, it's going to be put in the category of you with my mother. My mother has been pitching Evil, but she's also been pitching the show From, and she's obsessed with the show From, and I feel like you also would be obsessed with the show From, MJ, just because I feel that this is in a similar world, but I don't know.
From. I'm like, how do I even Google this? I Googled the show From. Okay, well, I'll learn about From at another time. But here's the thing that I undersold. I told you all the basics. Luke Cage is there. It's about, like, it's Mulder and Scully, but working for the Catholic Church. And they are going around, and each week there's a new demon that they need to stop, or a new exorcism that they need to do. But again,
this is pro-church.
I don't know if I would say it's pro-church. It's just like the church is a huge character in the show. The Catholic Church is a huge character in the show.
And it is pretending that it is not evil. Or is that the evil?
I mean, they're not talking about, like, the child sex abuse scandal, and they're not talking about
like those demons and where maybe they're getting their demons from, so they don't bring up any of that. of why
They're
they
not
might
talking
be
about
haunted or
like the J.D. Vance branch of Catholicism that's just like getting
putting your dick in a couch.
Weirder. They're not talking about that.
Okay.
It's just like, it's more like the Catholic Church exists and they think that exorcisms are how you, it's like, it creates a world in which the question is it the devil or is it psychology? And I think that's a very fun question.
Because
So
we
each
don't
week-
believe in mental illness, so it must be a demon of some sort.
Yeah, but like not in a way where you're like, this is bad.
Okay,
like, it's
okay,
just like,
but in
it's
a
just
pro
like,
way, okay.
What if we live in a world where you see someone having a very intense mental health episode, and because you're Luke Cage, I'm sorry, I'm going to keep calling him Luke Cage, the actor that plays Luke Cage, because you are an aspiring priest and you believe in God and demons, when you see somebody having a mental health crisis, your first thought is they are possessed by the devil, and your partner, the Scully's thought is, I am a psychologist and I think that this is a mental health episode, and that's the tension. But then the thing I did not sell you on, Jackie,
What
is that
did
those
you sell
two
me on?
also want to fuck. And that's really what I missed. And that's why I wanted to circle back, because he's an aspiring priest and he wants to fuck. What does this remind you of? Fleabag. And everybody loved a priest who wants to fuck. And now instead of being Andrew Scott, it's Luke Cage, the actor who plays Luke Cage. And isn't that nice? Not doing anything for you.
You know what it is? I'm inherently against the idea that a priest shouldn't have a family. Like, I feel like it's like
exactly. We're going to change it
so
by one fuck at a time.
I'm just so against that full idea that it actually gives me an ick about Luke Cage, because it makes me like, I know what the answer is. In the same way, yes, it gave me an ick about Andrew Scott too. That it's just of like the answer is put it in me. We're human. Put it in me if you want to put it in me. And I know you want to put it in me. But
Mike Coulter is Luke Cage. I'm going to start calling him Mike Coulter. Yeah, I
you
think
can call him Luke Cage. I mean, we refer to Duck as Duck on a different, on Desperate Housewives, just because I was watching Mad Men. So you can call him Luke Cage all you want. We all get it.
Okay. We're only in season 2 out of 4 seasons, and something tells me that they are gonna fuck.
They're gonna make it.
There's a lot of fantasies about it.
Okay.
He really wants to have sex with her, and she really wants to have sex with him, and she does not want to believe that the devil can, inhabit people. But, much like Scully, sometimes you got to consider it. And he doesn't want to believe that any mental health issue could be something that isn't the devil. And he's also kind of opening his mind, although it is pointing towards the devil. You've got to watch it, Jackie. It's so fun. It's fun.
I know that I should, because it does sound like a lot of fun. And I think
then Asaf Mandi is there, and he's also a skeptic. So it's 2 skeptics versus 1 religious guy. So it's like all
and
the
you've
religious
seen
stuff.
Hannibal. Is it as psychosexual as Hannibal is?
I mean, nothing is as psychosexual as Hannibal.
That's the thing. See, this is because I feel like Hannibal was like, I guess, can you refer? No, Hannibal is not a procedural show. I don't know what it's called. But those kind of shows where it's
type,
there's a thing, and then by the end of the episode, they have the like a Law and Order SVU. Like, honestly, I used to back in the day watch many episodes of it, but I kind of lost my flavor for a lot of those kind of things. But with Hannibal, the just innate sexual tension between all of them, and all of the what if we did all of that is really what kept me. So I'm worried. You know what, MJ, as you continue, if that part of it grows, come at me.
I will.
I'm ready for pitch number 3. I'm ready for it.
Because I really, like I said, when I talked about it the first time, I was like, this is what we're watching, and I'm not super invested in it yet. And now I am like, this is a really fun summer show, because it's really wacky. It doesn't take itself that seriously. It's sexy. There's demons. And you love demons.
I do love demons.
And the devil is
now
there.
That there is the empty hole that Widow's Bay burst into my life that I didn't even know that I needed, and now that it's over, I've watched multiple long YouTube videos talking about all of the Easter eggs that there were, and I'm just like, oh my god, I immediately want to watch it all. MJ, the show is so detailed in ways you have no idea. They put so much work into Widow's Bay. There's so much that's literally like written on the wall that you have had no idea. It makes me want to immediately watch it again. I'm obsessed with Patricia. I want to meet her. I want to just talk to her about how she does things. Like especially the Patricia episodes just had me on lock. I'm obsessed with her.
I saw that she did an interview and everyone was so happy because she's just like not Patricia, and they were like, "Give this bitch an Emmy.
She's
such a good actor."
Emmy, especially, is so funny watching the interviews of Patricia and Matthew Rhys and Stephen Root, and the three of them also so. Like, they're in such, like, cartoonish characters, except based in reality, in Widow's Bay, and then watching them talk as their actual selves in the interview, I was just like, who are these people? These aren't the same people. Like, I really, because especially Stephen Root, and watching Stephen Root just speak like a normal, I'm like, it's crazy to me that Stephen Root is normal at all, as someone that bows down to the pedestal of news radio. Like, it's crazy to me that there is even a normal version of Stephen Root.
Yeah, I don't even know if I could handle
or
that.
Or like an Office Space, or and it's like you just think of Stephen Root and you just think of, and I didn't even realize how heightened his character is in Widow's Bay until you watch an interview with him and you're just like, man, you're just a guy. That's crazy to me that you're just a guy. And then Matthew Rhys talking with his highfalutin, and he's such a weenie in the show.
Wait, Matthew Rhys has a highfalutin accent?
Yeah, dude. Oh, what? Yeah, he's a British man. He's a British man.
Matthew Rhys is British?
Oh, yeah, bro.
He's Welsh?
Yeah, dude. Sorry, Welsh, excuse me. But but also the accent is yes, not what I expected coming out of him at all. You look shocked.
I never knew.
You look shocked. You have to watch some of these interviews. That's what I'm saying. And Patricia's also British too. So the three of them talking to each other like normal people, I was just like, oh my God, they're all normal people.
Matthew Rhys is my mind because he's in The Americans.
I know you love Matthew Rhys. I can't believe you didn't know this.
He doesn't have a British accent in The Americans. He doesn't have a British accent in that one he did with Claire Danes, which I just watched. And he doesn't have a British accent. I did not know he was British.
Nah, dude.
He's like my favorite actor, and I didn't know. Or Welsh. Colonizers, sorry. Okay, so that's
colonizers.
Lest I erase the Welsh identity.
Thank you, appreciate you. So I apologize. Welsh, you refer to it as a Welsh accent?
Yeah, I don't know. It is the British way.
We are sorry that we do not know those things, but man, it genuinely makes me just want to watch Widow's Bay all over again, and if you haven't watched it yet, do yourself a flavor, man. It really is a show. It's already getting crazy Emmy nominations, as it should. It's so funny because I'm currently watching The Bear as well, watching the new season of The Bear. Have you been watching any of it?
I think the problem is that I think I fell off on the previous season of The Bear. Because it wasn't the previous season of The Bear, weren't we kind of like, this is not doing it for me?
Yeah.
And I stopped.
Yes.
And now I'm fucked because I have to catch up on previous Bear to do current Bear.
Yes.
But everyone says that the last season is amazing.
I'm enjoying it. Very much. It's definitely, it's great because you know these characters at this point so well that watching them go through this really is, it's like one of those. I haven't watched every episode yet. I think we're only like 4 or 5 episodes deep, but this is the final season, and as of right now it's all through one day, so it's kind of like doing a pit thing.
Ooh,
but
the pit
not
the bear.
at all. But I think that there's also other episodes where it's not necessarily during that day, but at first I was like, oh, don't do the pit thing. Like, I don't want it all for one day. Like, I want to see them grow. But apparently you do. You do.
Okay. Yeah, now I'm in a bear hole. And
whoa, let me in there. And they're only ripping off my clothes. What do I do?
Gotta get out of the bear hole.
You gotta get out of the bear hole, and you gotta get into, man, I talk about it on Jackie's book club, so I apologize, but the contact juggling video hole. I have lost some time, MJ. because I saw a random factoid that was talking about Jareth from Labyrinth. Yes, the David Bowie character. And when he, the ball in Labyrinth that he uses, that the magic ball. That's not magic. It's contact juggling. It's actually a way in which you contact juggle. And I always thought that David Bowie learned how to contact juggle. He did not. Actually, it is all done practically. That they showed his head right in front of the body of like famed contact jugglist. I can't remember his name right now. I'll look it up in a second. But so he, the guy that essentially invented contact juggling was the one doing his arms, and it was just David Bowie's head.
Like the improv game where somebody stands behind you and is your arms?
Yes, like on Whose Line Is It Anyway? Yes, yeah. And those were always my favorite ones. Or like in Sesame Street where they would have the dog, and then the dog would have, the Weimaraner would be there and be like, oh, I'm a king. And then they would just pretend to be a king with the arms. And so that's what they did with it. And I was like, man, that's crazy. And I had recently watched a YouTube video of some guy that was buying stuff off the internet to see if it worked. And he bought contact juggling balls, and he's like, this is crazy. You're supposed to you have to learn how. It's yeah, they're not magic balls. You have to learn the concept of how to contact juggle, which is very difficult. But then I really lost myself in watching a lot of contact juggling videos. And
I come from a family of jugglers, but I don't know
contact jugglers, though.
Not contact jugglers, but I juggle. My husband juggles. My brother juggles, and my dad juggles.
Well, I just jiggle, 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 jiggle. It was my fat. I was jiggling my fat. What do you
juggle? I just juggle balls. But very clueless moment. I can't. My doctor said I can't play any sport where balls might fly at my face. There goes your social life. I juggle balls, but my husband can juggle flaming torches, and in fact is practicing juggling flaming torches.
Gideon videos when where we need content, and I'd love to see it.
Yeah, he can do bowling pins, but the flaming torches
He can do bowling pins? They're so heavy!
Well, not bowling pins. They look like bowling. They're the shape of bowling pins. Clubs, I guess you call them. But yeah, he can
what
do...
What are they, Raven? Oons, 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 oons.
He is from the 80s, and back then they had
We're both
summer
from
camps.
the 80s. I hate to bring that up. MJ,
he's from the 70s.
I think he's, yeah.
He grew up in the 80s, and he went to a camp that was a computer clown camp where half of the time they learned how to use early computers.
How do we know? How do I just round them up and we'll just shove them in one place? I think they're all weirdos, and I'll put them together, I guess.
These dorks like computers and juggling,
They must love juggling, I guess.
Yeah, so he learned DOS, and he learned how to juggle fire. So
he learned about a floppy disk, and then he learned how to fucking throw some shit in the air. And I bet, oh man, when he came home, the mother was just like, "I'm so glad I spent money on this."
And then I'm gonna get it wrong because I am a child of I grew up in the 90s, but he started a early online message board called the SNAKEPIT, really bringing it back to the beginning because he was a snake guy. And
because
then
that's the bug he's going to turn into, yeah.
And then someone called, I hope he's home, I hope if I get it wrong, he'll come and correct me. Someone named the Viper, a hacker named the Viper, seized the SNAKEPIT from him.
Took his eggs?
And took the SNAKEPIT, and it was his proudest creation. It was devastating for him because the SNAKEPIT got hacked by Viper.
Viper comes in, man. Vipers be viping, dude.
Yeah, Viper has never been caught to this day.
Whoa, we gotta find the Vipe, dude. We gotta go out there. We gotta bring the SNAKEPIT back. Bring it back. Yeah. Bring his eggs home.
Yeah, this was in the days when it was asterisks, it was an ASCII message board called the SNAKEPIT. Yeah.
Whoa. And was it just pictures of juggling pins in the SNAKEPIT, or were there pictures of snakes in there, or was it DOS? Memes?
I don't even know if there was pictures, Jackie. It was very early. I don't know. I feel like in my head it was all zeros and ones.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
I just imagine that'd be like, yeah, did you juggle today? Yeah, I juggled today. Whoa, cool. LOL, BRB. And then it was just like that. Was that all it was?
I'm texting him what content was in the snake pit, using a very 2026 word to describe the
Bring
very
it back.
1986 message board.
Bring
But we're gonna
it back.
We're gonna see if we can find out in the next few minutes.
Oh,
here.
please, here is to hoping, y'all. Now, yeah, I'm sorry that you haven't sold me necessarily on Evil yet. I do want to,
It's okay.
I apologize. It's
It
really,
is a show from 4 years ago, and I understand that you're like, why are you watching a show from 4 years ago instead of watching any of the
what are
many
you talking
shows
about?
that are...
You bringing up Evil, the Evil-nators coming out of the woodwork was crazy.
There's a lot of
I
them.
love you, MJ. I'm going to say it. Oftentimes you'll bring up something that's cozy or something, and then people are like, yeah.
Nobody else. Nobody else.
We really support you, MJ. You know, it's
Yeah.
like we hear that, but Evil
Yeah.
really got a lot of people churnt.
Yeah. No, Evil were. Yeah, I also realized this last night as my kids were watching. They're doing Annie at camp right now. So we watched original Annie, we watched 2014 Annie, and then that
Wow.
led us to 1990s Little Rascals. And then I was like, kids, can I show you the 1920s Little Rascals? And they were like, no. And I was like, too bad. And I like took the remote and like played them.
Too bad, yeah.
And that's when I realized I was like, I mean, this was a joke in our live show. I was like, why do I host a pop culture podcast? I exclusively like things from the 1950s. And then here I am like playing comedy shorts from the 1930s. And I was like, no one wants this. No one likes this. My children don't want it. I don't know why this is the culture that really animates
Speaks
me.
to you.
Yeah. But
We
but
all
no.
contain multitudes, MJ. It's because you also do listen to some current things. You know, you are dragged into the current zeitgeist by us.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, by being around kids. And I think that they, you know, while we might not have the same zeitgeist, it is good to know about what your kids are getting into, you know?
Yeah, I mean if you want to know about like cutting squishies open, which is all the young people
What happens
wanna
on the
do right
inside of
now.
it. I mean, honestly, we were kind of doing that with the satellite wafers earlier this week.
Yeah. That's hot content on YouTube. Cut the satellite wafers open, and you'll go viral instantly. But I also I know we're just about to end the show. I gotta say the head scratcher of the week is Karamo and Jussie Smollett.
You know,
I don't have any insight, but I just want to.
I have no
shout that
insight.
out.
I did literally say maybe this is part of the problems he was having a queer eye. I am surprised by it. I am.
It's for someone who became famous for his exquisite way to articulate like emotional intelligence and emotional growth to people who hadn't had those conversations before. Like, to end up with Jussie Smollett, I was like, what did not have that on the bingo card, so to speak.
No, but you know what I also didn't have on my bingo card? I needed to shout this movie out because friends of the network, John Early and Kate Berlant, put out a movie called Maddie's Secret. And I have to bring it up.
Okay.
It's only they are still showing it a very small, like it was a very small release of a movie. And for those that are not familiar with John Early is to us, to anyone that was like working in comedy in New York, like he is an amazing character actor. He is someone that we worked with many times. He's also someone that also had like the characters special when Henry had the character special. So it was all of us like working on a bunch of shit together and making a bunch of weird shit. And I'm so happy that he got the opportunity to make Maddie's Secret, which is essentially a fully like going there Hallmark movie that he plays the lead woman in, and it's about her bulimia. And it's about like every time she like throws, it's so melodramatic, but also fabulous. Like it's not just doing the Hallmark trope, like it is just a melodramatic, like all of the actors like Eric Rahel, who plays Maddie's husband in it, is just this like loving, amazing one. And even though it is all so cartoonish, it is all done with such a melodrama, and it's so genuinely funny. They didn't play it a lot of places, and it was so cool because we were able to see it at a fairly packed theater in LA, because I think also, you know, lots of friends of them and stuff like that. And I'm so happy that this weird indie comedy got made that is so up. Like, if you like Last Podcast Network, if you like our kind of comedy, you will love Maddie's Secret. Of course, I imagine some people could get triggered. There is, you know, eating disorder, and it is making, but it's not making light of it, but it is in, you know, overall, because it is a melodrama. But as someone that I have struggled with eating disorders, like it was, and I'm not saying that means nobody will be triggered by it, but I'm just saying it's so funny. It's just so funny. And it's like making the jokes about what Almond Moms essentially did to us in the 90s.
Okay. Yeah, that's wonderful. I love him, and obviously I love Kate Berlant, and it's always just very
Kristen
special.
Johnston plays Maddie's mother in it from Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh, wow.
My God. Oh my, it's delightful. And I don't know if it's going to be easy for people to procure over. I'm sure it'll be streaming soon, but just look out for it. Again, it's Maddie's Secret. Definitely give it a check out because it's great.
Okay. Yeah, it's always so fun to see the not just the people who were like around in, you know, early
It gives
New
me
York
Hannah
when we
Swenson
were,
vibes, by the way, because she's like she's a dishwasher at like a place that makes like viral food content, and she's just like, I'm never gonna be up there making the content where everyone else is. Like, she's just like, and they're all like treating her horribly as like throwing dishes at her, and like it's Hannah Swenson vibes of just like,
That's
this
great.
old fat, like it just
but with like the most talented and like weirdest comedians. I just
Yes.
love it when the people who we were coming up with, who were like the real weird ones, are the like get to make their really weird, cool stuff.
Yes,
I just love
and
that.
Kate
Love
Berlant
that.
and John Early working together. It like them working together has always given me like a Me and Holden kind of vibe, where you can tell they really bring out the extra weird in each other, and it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, that's okay. But it's like very, very, very limited release, right?
It is, yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But
Okay,
check it
well,
out if you
good for
can,
them.
and look for it once it starts streaming. But also, thank you everybody for joining us on this week's episode of Second Helpings. I hope that page 7 filled you up this week. And if it ain't, I guess you're going to have to come on over to the Patreon to get a little bit more. Because we are about to finish season 2 of Wisteria Laniacs. Yes, that is the Desperate Housewives watch-along show that we do over on our Patreon. And I gotta say, man, this season is given. It is nuts. And I will say, did I call a portion of the slave storyline? Yes, I did. So feel pretty
and
good
if you're
about
upset
that.
to hear that, then let's just remind you the show was made in 2006.
2006.
And we are coming to realize that I think that this plot line would have been offensive in 2006.
Yeah, I think that it is. And it also is really crazy, too, that a lot of conversation, too, I appreciate on the Patreon of people finding it fascinating that they thought it was okay because they had Gabrielle, who was played by Ava Longoria, who was a person of color. They're like, oh, but it's okay if a person of color is being racist. And
that was such a good point. They make the one Latina like main character the most racist one, and that is such insight. And also, yes, so extremely early 2000s. What if we still used funny racist jokes and we made the Latina actress
But it's
do it?
hilarious because that one's racist. It's like one of those where you're just like, oh my God, okay guys, this all white writing room, huh? Okay.
The racism goes in so many different directions. You just never know what you're going to get. Desperate Housewives Watch Along is absolutely
bonkers.
It really is the new Riverdale Roundup, and of course also at Patreon we've got our Buffy Desperate Housewives is just a talk about. Buffy we're actually watching Buffy. And then, of course, there's Jackie's Book Club, where you guys are on book 4 of
5.
Book
Dead
5.
as a doornail. Dead as a doornail. So come on, check it out. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us this week. You can follow me on Instagram at JackThatWorm. And MJ, we can get you at MJKLCat. Yeah, I said it for you. How do you feel about that? I took the words right out of your mouth.
I am MJKLCat on Instagram. And of course, you can email us page7podcast@gmail.com. We do really love hearing from you. We read your emails and we're so grateful for you and so thankful for you. And Jackie, I'm thankful for you.
I'm thankful for you as well. Let's sing the song. Pot'll be better, second time around.